Okay, come on in, everybody. Hey, today I'm really excited. We've got Ben Keenan, everybody. Ben is a great friend, and can we welcome Ben? Ben's awesome. So Ben is one of our street pastors in Exeter, and I'm really excited. I get to interview Ben. I love this. Ben's looking awkward and nervous, doesn't know what's coming, doesn't know what's facing him, and so we're not going to be mean, Ben. We'll be nice, and so. It won't be the worst. No. So Ben is a street pastor. Street pastors meet in this building. We love the street pastors meet in this building. And I won't say too much because I want you to talk a bit about street pastors. But what we're really passionate about is being people on a mission, people like in the city centre for a reason. And we really believe God has placed us here for a purpose. And it's not just to be meek and mild and sit in these four walls and kind of smile politely at each other, but it's actually to kind of go out and love and care and like genuinely be Jesus' hands and feet in the city. And this is what these guys do week in, week out. And I first met Ben a few years ago, actually. And then when we moved here, Ben was like, we've got to chat about street pastors. And street pastors, meet Friday, Saturday nights in this space. But just kick us off, Ben. What is street pastors? How did you get involved? And what does it all mean?
Okay. It's very strange to be in the daylight in uniform in this building. Normally it's middle of the night. Probably about 3 o'clock this morning, there was a street pastor team here. I wasn't on it, but there's a street pastor team here finishing up. Street pastors is an ecumenical movement, so all denominations, which is great. We go out on the streets in Exeter. In fact, streets all over the country, street pastors. And minister to the people who have been out clubbing and perhaps had a little too much happy juice or happy drugs.
Is that a technical term?
No. Happy juice. Or are on their own or have lost their friends. A number of times people have lost their friends, and we just are able to come alongside them and help them find their friends, which is quite incredible. Sometimes I think we had someone who was really out of it outside the Cavern, for those of you who know Exeter, and it was about 1 o'clock. He came from Chudley, which is quite a way out, and we're thinking, how on earth are we going to get this lad back to Chudley? No money, no contact. He wouldn't give us his contact details. He lost his phone. And someone just walked up and said, can I help you? And we said the problem and said, oh yeah, I know this lad. He's from Chudley. I'm from Chudley. And you think, how on earth does this happen? You know, when we're out, we always have 2 people in the back praying right the way through. And if there's an issue, we call for prayer. And the number of times that situations are solved, you really see the power of prayer immediate. Because all too often when we're in church and we pray for things, it's things we'll expect an answer for in the future. But we actually, street pastors, we need it now. On one occasion, we had, I was praying, and there was a call from the street pastors from Gandhi Street. They said, we've got someone lying on the street who is unconscious and is deaf. Can you pray that someone at the hospital will be able to sign? And in my prayers, I just thought, oh, God, that's not quick enough, God. So we prayed for someone right now. And 30 seconds after the amen, the street pastors came on the phone and said, you won't believe just what's happened. Someone's walked out of the club who can sign. You know, and it is just, there are things that are incredible that go on like that. Street pastors, we will carry lollipops. Ruben, on the back row, there is a pot with lollipops. Could you go around and give everyone a lollipop, please? This is not communion part 2. This is what we hand out to, and we do hand out water, and something to drink and something to eat. We hand out water to sober people up, but we also hand out these lollipops to break the ice with people. The number of times I've walked into a fight just about to kick off, guys or girls facing up to each other, and just walk in and say, hi guys, do you want a lollipop? And it just breaks the ice incredibly. And we are known for our lollipops. We're also known for our flip-flops. They're over on the table over there. A lot of people who wear who go out with high heels. I don't know about you guys, but I can't use heels. My heels won't take. My ankles don't take high heels after midnight. You know, so flip-flop. They take their shoes off. People take their shoes off, and there's so much broken glass on the streets at night that they cut their feet and then call an ambulance, and then it causes issues. So we hand out flip-flops. We also sweep up glass. But people see us doing that and ask, what's this all about? Why are you doing this? And then that gives us the opportunity to say, actually, this is what God would, what we believe Jesus would want us to be doing, to be serving people, to be showing God's love to people on the streets.
That's great.
Does that answer your questions?
Yeah,
I can't remember. You wanted to know why I became Christian?
Yeah.
I have teenage children. And I thought, well, I'd want someone to be doing this. So, well, actually, they were 12 and 13 when I started. I'd want someone to be doing this for my youngsters, so I need to go out and do this myself.
Yeah.
So,
Should we play the video?
yes, let's play the video. The other reason why I became a street pastor was to share God's love, which is the more important bit, just to show that God demonstrate God's love on the street in my life. Yeah, that's the main reason.
So let's unpack a bit of the theology of it. Like, you're out, let's get practical. You're out 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Fever's kicking out. There's sick everywhere. Let's be real.
Yeah.
A little bit of blood probably on the streets.
Yeah.
People wailing, screaming, shouting at you guys. Let's unpack the theology of it a little bit. Like that practically showing the love of God. How, Ben, does it work? And can you unpack a little bit of the theology of that?
Okay. We're just out here, actually, there was a guy, big guy, bald head. He was shouting around, I'm going to hit someone. I want to fight. I'm going to hit someone. I went up to him and said, buddy, there's cameras all over the place. You'll end up in the cell tonight if you cause a fight. And he said, I don't care, I'm going to hit you. And I just stepped back and we prayed for him. And you develop, you pray with your eyes open, because eyes shut, something can come flying your way. So you pray with your eyes open, looking at someone, so no one knows you're looking at your partner, so no one knows you're praying. But we prayed for him. He went across, got in a major fight, then shook his head, and right, that's better. And then he came back and had a really deep conversation with us. And it's just bizarre. But in Matthew 25, it says, I was hungry and you clothed me.
Yeah.
And then they say, well, when did you see this? When did we do this? And it was when it's the least, when we don't expect it. And we don't know that what we're doing in God's greater plan. God's got it all in. I often say to my street pastors, and excuse me if I'm being irreligious, but I have an impression of God being there going, guys, I've got this sorted. I know what's happened. I know where this person needs to be for you to help them along in their life. Just be me on the streets. Yeah. Just live out what I would have you do. Just be there, pray for them, and show my love to them. And it's an amazing thing to be part of. There's a guy named Ben who's now he had a business, family. The business went pop. His marriage went pop as well. He ended up on the streets, a drug addict. A few years back, one of our street pastors, Michelle, sat down next to him and prayed with him. Fast forward 8 years, he is now absolutely a live Christian. He's running a boxing club for a fitness boxing club for street attached. And then at the end of each session, he's having a prayer, so a thought and some Christian thoughts and prayers. And he's just absolutely on fire for God. And we have no idea when you sit down. Liz, do you know any of you have met Liz, who plays the guitar outside Marks and Spencer's? I saw her in town yesterday. She came up and gave me a big hug, and we talked about coming here tonight to the course, the Alpha course that they're running. But she's just on the edge, and we've got other street attached that are really on the edge, because one of the reasons, one of the just little things that we've shown is that they have love. They can see God's love in action for them across this city, here and the other cross lines at Wednesday Kitchen, at Street Pastors, and St. Petrock's, and there's just an immense. I feel God's moving in Exeter, and He's really, it's great to be part of.
Yeah, and tell us a bit about being on mission. Because I'm so aware that there are many people who kind of perceive mission to be going out abroad, or going on a couple of weeks trip away, or getting ordained, or what does it mean for you? I mean this as a great compliment, as a normal guy in Exeter who's on mission in the middle of the city. And what would you say to someone who says, like, well, I don't know, like, about that, I'm not quite prepared, or I'm not quite ready, or like, I perhaps need a bit more input before I can go out and talk about who Jesus really is?
Well, I did a stint overseas on overseas mission, but your mission is wherever God places us.
Yeah.
Now, God may place us on mission overseas, which is great because we've got a need and a skill that we can use over there. He may also place you here. I'm nothing. Don't see myself as a missionary as such, but it's just getting out there and being God, and showing God to the people around us, whether it be at college, whether it be at university, whether it be at work, whether it be in the office. Wherever God puts us, we are all called to mission.
Yeah.
And the mission on the street, on Street Pastors, is amazing, because a lot of the guys out there will never come near a church building. They never cross the threshold of a place like this. But the number of we get. Most evenings we'll have people yelling across the streets, "We love you, Street Pastors." And on one occasion, actually it was a street community, she just came up to me and said, "Right, why have you become a Christian?" And sat down. It was at the top of Sidwell Street by the walk-in centre, and she just sat down. I sat on a wall, and she sat down. There's a little alleyway beside there, and I sat on the wall. And I gave my testimony. It's only 2 or 3 minutes, but there was a guy next to her. A week later, he was dead. Now, he listened to my testimony as well. We have no idea where God has used that. Yeah. Now, I didn't. She just said, "Wow," and then walked on her way. But we have no idea how God can use the opportunities He gives us. Yeah. I'd hate to get to heaven and God said, "You missed it. You missed the opportunity. I set that one up for you, Ben." Yeah. I worked it so that I got them all together. You in the right position. It wasn't raining. She could sit on the floor because it was dry. And you missed it. Let's get out on and take every opportunity.
Do you find it easy to share your faith?
No. No, in that I don't yeah, it becomes easier. It becomes easier as you do it. And so I was at a youth group. I was one of my youth leader. I was helping lead a youth group, and he threw me a box of matches, and he said, "Right, Ben, light the match, and you've got that long to give your testimony till your fingers burn," which actually concentrated my mind. And I do it sometimes when I train street pastors. That's something I do, because actually it's a nice little test actually to think, actually, how can I make it concise and not, say, right, get your testimony off.
Let's do it. I've got some matches. Let's hand them out. Let's do it. We're going to break here, and we're going to try this. So go into little pairs, twos, threes. Sorry. And no, I'm being serious. Let's do it. Let's try it. And let's go twos, threes, and let's introduce yourself to each other, and then I'll throw some matches around and we'll sit. We'll try it. Is that all right? Let's go. Okay, come on back in. Come on back in. How did everyone find the match? Challenging? It's hard, isn't it? It's hard, yeah. It's hard. So, Ben, what happens when we serve? Because it's not easy. You put yourself in a kind of a vulnerable position emotionally. When you kind of share your faith, it's not easy. You're getting out of your comfort zone. But what happens? Because I imagine that I can clearly see the difference it makes to people that you love and you serve. But what happens to us?
Yeah. When it gets to about 9:30 on a Saturday night, I want to sit down and watch Match of the Day. I do not want to start going out, especially if Liverpool have won. But
Rarely then.
Oh, right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for this morning. No, but I'm really crotchety, and it's the last thing I want to do to go out. But invariably, and I swing open that door, and it's pitch black in here, and I have to fumble around for the lights because I'm first in the key holder, and I just think to myself, what am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And I really don't want to be doing this. And you go out on the streets, and then someone stops you. Someone comes up and goes, "Hey, Mr. Keenan, it's me." Because I'm a school teacher, and they know me I'm a primary school teacher, and they will often recognise me. Someone comes up and gives me a hug. You grow inside incredibly. Another quick story, sorry. There was a guy outside McDonald's. He'd been thrown out because he had sworn at the counter staff. The door staff were nose to nose with him. They were trying to make him throw the first punch so they could lay into him. And they went and got him his burger, walked up to the door, dropped it in the bin. They were really pushing his buttons. And I said to him, "Hey, mate, where are you from?" He said, "Exeter." And I said, "Oh, what part?" He said, "Whipton." I said, "Oh, which school did you go to?" And he said, "Whipton Barton." I said, "Whipton Barton?" And then he looked at me and he said, "Mr. Keenan, it's me, Wayne. Do you remember Wayne?" And it just totally broke that situation. And I was able to share a bit of my faith with him. Why are you out here? What are you doing? And it's that sort of, you don't, when you go out on the streets, you don't know what situation's going to happen, what's going to come up. It might be vomit, it might be sick, it might be having to call an ambulance, it might be dealing with the police, it might be breaking up a fight. You've no idea what's going to happen, but you know that we can be there on God's love, showing God's love. And it's you don't do it for selfish reasons, but you actually do it because you know that's what we should be doing as Christians. And you're showing God onto the streets of Exeter, or where are you from? You're from Kent. Yeah, I was with someone from one of the Kent Street Pastors the week before last, one of the leaders in the Kent Kent movement down there. But yeah, it's just showing God's love, and it really does build you up. That doesn't really answer your question, does it? Can you?
No, it's great.
Ask the question again.
No, it's great. We're rapidly running out of time. So I guess my real kind of question, there's two things. If someone's here and they kind of sense the Spirit nudging them to have a conversation or get out of the comfort zone and say, hey, I think God might be saying, or actually have a kind of one of those deeper, meaningful conversations with a friend, or whether it be at work or in university or in the classroom or wherever it may be, firstly, like, what's your advice and wisdom of how we do that? And then finally, how can we pray for you, support you, get involved in the life of Street Pastors?
Well, I would just say get alongside people and let them lead the way and let God give the way. A lot of our work is relational.
Yeah.
We don't, we're not there to preach. We don't stand on the street corner and preach. We're known more than preachers. We're known more as street pastors because they don't know what pastors are. But we're there caring for people on the streets, and through our care, get alongside people and befriend them. In the workplace, at home, in school. If you're interested further in this work, is that what you're basically saying? Come and get in touch with me. I'll give you my number. Come out on observation with us, just to come out and see what we do, so you can pray more effectively for us. Firstly, so you know roughly what's going on, and if then we're able to give up one night a month, and give up the match of the day, it would, that might be a direction that you may be interested in, but it's actually to pray effectively for us, and we do need your prayer out on the streets.
So Friday and Saturday night, how can we pray for you?
Friday and Saturday, just for safety and for the conversations. Every week we pray for a quiet, peaceful night and really good conversations with people. Yeah. So many times we're asked to pray. We stand and pray with people on the streets. You may not know, but Vaults used to be, or it still is, nominally the LGBTQ plus bar, nightclub in Exeter. When we started this in 2009, we had quite a lot of animosity from them. Now they're our greatest supporter. They're some of our greatest supporters. But we've been asked a number of times to pray with people outside that bar, and it's just, they've brought their friends to come on. I've asked people, can I pray with you? And they say, yeah. And they brought all their friends to pray with us, and we're standing around praying for each other outside the Vaults, in the middle of Gandhi Street, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Ben, can we pray for you?
Yeah.
Can we jump up to our feet and can we pray for Ben? Can we put you in the middle, Ben? Is that all right?
Yeah. Just before I finish, when I went to the side, it reminded me, in our training, I put a picture of this window up here, and it says, I will make, on the bottom left-hand corner, I will make you fishers of men. And that's our real business. That's what, this is why we love being part of, involved in this church. So thank you, Matt.
Such a joy. Can we thank Ben, everybody? Can we thank Ben?